Hey guys, welcome to my another video on AWS. Today we will be discussing about how we create the step functions and using the workflow. So you can see the step functions is nothing but creating a workflow. For example, like let's say you're basically orchestrating the serverless functions. For example, you can invoke a Lambda function from your step functions, right? And we will be doing that today in the demo. So you can create and also run a series of event-driven workflows that maintain the application state. For example, like with the help of visual interface. Yeah, and you can imagine this like the output of one step acts as an input to another step, right? So each step in your application executes in the order, yeah, as defined by your business logic. So um, so step functions manage sequencing, error handling, retry logic, and state, removing any significant operational burden from you. So this is pretty much like like a state machine, right? So what we're gonna do today is create a step function, yeah, and invoke a Lambda function from your step function, yeah. So head over to this diagram, and as you can see, as I've been saying, your step function will be invoking a Lambda function, and in response you will get return back to the step function. Yeah, this diagram is pretty straightforward, it's not complex. And I've also created my repository where you can see these sample roles for my step function, and also the Lambda role. I've created a Lambda role and a sample Lambda function we will be using in our demo today. And most importantly, follow my GitHub profile. I will be adding more and more stuff. I've been doing a lot of stuff this year. Hopefully, I will add in the coming years. And let's head over to my console and let's begin creating a step function and invoking a Lambda function. So let's start with the Lambda function first. Okay, click on Lambda. I've added a shortcut here, which is pretty nice. As I've been saying, create a function. This is my Lambda function. I just want to name things pretty simple at the moment. Go to change default execution role, use an existing role. So basically, this is all my previous roles. I don't see anything new. So what I'm going to do is going to go to IAM, right click and click on open link in a new tab. Leave this tab as is. So now we need a Lambda role. So basically this Lambda role creates a basic access to our CloudWatch, because we will be looking into our CloudWatch logs when, how, at what time our step function has invoked a Lambda function. So for that, I will be giving creating a role for my Lambda function. I'm just going to go to the IAM dashboard and click on roles and create a role. All right, AWS service, and click on Lambda and click next. So obviously you want to have you have your policy here that I've created, which is here. So I just want to give access to logs to cloud log stream, log group, and put log events. So I'm simply going to copy the JSON from here into my console. So let's click on create policy. That will open up in a new tab like so. And instead of choosing a service from here, I always I do, go to the JSON tab, paste your log, create log, and put log events into your JSON editor, so which is pretty easy for me to do, and click on next. I don't want to add any tags at the moment, so I'm going to name this policy as Lambda CloudWatch policy. You can add the description if you want, but for now I will just ignore that. So you can see CloudWatch logs, and you can see what you can see the policy that I have given, and create policy. Okay, and as soon as you create your policy, you can close this tab, go back to the tab you have opened, and click refresh. You should be able to see your Lambda CloudWatch policy. This is my Lambda CloudWatch policy, and click on next. I'm going to name this Lambda step function. Maybe I can simply do Lambda role 1 2 3. Yeah, just I want to name it very simple. and click on create role. So click on create role, yeah, like that. So now you have created a Lambda role, which is fine. So remember your Lambda role name and close this tab. Go back to your Lambda function wherever you were creating. So make sure you select the order from scratch. Function name, Python, in my case, because I just wanted to demo a simple thing. Click refresh here and you should be able to see your Lambda role over here, okay? Select the Lambda role, create a function. So now that you should be able to create your Lambda function, your code has been updated. That's fine. Just ignore that. And hello from Lambda. I'm going to change this as invoke Lambda from a step function. Okay, successfully. Okay, all right. Invoke Lambda function from step function successfully. Okay. Now click on deploy. This is my basic Lambda function I wanted to create, and now my Lambda is ready. So then now go ahead and create a step function. All right. So click on step function. I choose my shortcut from here. Otherwise, if you want to go to step functions, just in the search field, just type step function and open up in the new tab like so. Okay, so as you can see, this is a visual editor. So they simply demonstrated how it works. So you usually you drag and drop your serverless things over here, and that creates a workflow. As you can see, in this workflow, you start Lambda function, you invoke a Lambda function, make a choice, go to Lambda, go to DynamoDB, create a SQL service, and then end. Okay, this is how it is creating. Probably you can zoom in a bit, and obviously it generates a code for you. You don't need to do anything. You just need to do visually, and the code is generated in the background as they show you, right? So I hope this gives an idea, or maybe if it doesn't, then I would suggest go back to the step functions documentation. You probably give it a read a little bit so that you will understand what is step function and etc. And also you can see the use cases. These are some of the use cases they mentioned. So if you want to run parallel workloads, probably you will use a step function as well. So yeah, give it a read and you should be able to understand what exactly a step function functions are. Okay. So all right, so what I'm going to do, go back to my step functions, close this window, and get started. All right, click on get started. Ignore this for now. Go to state machines, leave this page. Now create a state machine, and standard, choose standard. This is the type. Maybe you can choose write your own workflow in code. So I want to write your workflow in code. Okay, so as soon as I see this, I just gonna remove this. You can use this generate code snippet from here, but I'm gonna use the snippet that I already have here, which is this one. So copy this workflow code, go back to your step function, paste this, and make sure you replace your bucket, your sorry, it's not bucket, it's lambda, it's lambda ARN. Okay, sorry, it might be my mistake. So your lambda, so for this reason I'm going to go back to my lambda, copy my function ARN that you see on your lambda function, just copy this and go back to your step functions and paste in place of your lambda ARN. Okay, so before okay, format the JSON, looks like it's correct. So you can see the workflow on the right side, start invoke lambda function, and that's the end. So obviously I'm not going to do something very complex like what they have done in the step functions like so. But to demonstrate this, I will just start simply with invoking a lambda function, but you can obviously add if you need more and more in the workflow that you need for. But for my workflow, this is pretty simple at the moment. I think I will do more demos so that I can explain and do more videos on this kind of stuff, which gives you more idea. So for now, this is the invoke lambda, and this is going to invoke my lambda function. This is the code snippet, and click on next. Make sure you have selected these options: workflow in the code, standard, and click on next. My state machine, I want to choose a, maybe you can create a new role, or maybe I can choose an existing role. Do I have a role? No. Okay, so I'm gonna go to IAM, open up in a new tab. go to the roles, create a role, AWS service. Probably you will choose choose step functions from here. Okay, like so. Click next. You have a policy already, which will invoke a Lambda function. This is the only policy that I want to attach to my step function. So click on next. My step function policy. You can see this description allows step function to access AWS resources on your behalf, and you're calling the AWS Lambda role. Create a role. So go to Lambda and not Lambda again. Sorry, step function. Select the step function, and I'm sorry. I think you have created the role. Go back to a step function and refresh. You should be able to see the step function policy, and assume that this is a role for now. Or maybe you can simply select the create a new role for you and create a state machine like so. All right, so now that we have created a state machine, go back to the state machine from the breadcrumb like so. You can see the step my state machine. Okay, now that you have created a state machine, click on my state machine and you can start the execution. And for the input, you can simply say my step call lambda step function. Okay, you can remove this because you don't need any input for your lambda. You can simply say something like my lambda input. This is just a dummy text. Ignore if you don't want. This is optional. Okay, and create and start the execution. The execution status is in progress. All right, now that you can see the execution status is succeeded, and click on execution input and output. This is my input, and as you can see, this is my output in invoke lambda from the step function successfully. This is my output, and you can see when you click on invoke lambda, you can see input and output here. Maybe you can go to advanced view if you want more details. This is a concise view. You can see when it is started and the duration it ran and stuff like that. If you scroll down, you can see much more logs, and obviously you can go to CloudWatch logs. Okay, definition details. Okay, go back to the logs. So this is, we are in the CloudWatch logs at the moment, log groups, and we should be able to see our AWS my lambda function. Go to log groups, you should be able to see the lambda function, and this is the log. So if you can see here, this is the request that started, and which started at 6:21 my time. Now it's 6:22 my time, and also when it ends is 6:21:07. It was pretty it took very less time, like just in a fraction of milliseconds, right? So as you can see, you can generate the logs in CloudWatch as well. You can monitor your step function and understand what's going on in the step function. You can also have access to the logs, and also you can enable the X-ray traces. You can debug what's going on in your application. For example, if you have a failure, you can come to a service map and you can see anything. You can debug basically in X-ray. So I will cover that in a next video. But for now, I hope you guys have understood what a step function is, and I hope this explains how you can create a workflows, right? And by that, please like my video if you like, and also subscribe to my channel. I'll try and add more and more videos. And please comment for anything that you see that's not right, or if you want to help my channel grow, please add the comments, and don't forget to subscribe my channel and also follow my GitHub. I will be adding more and more code snippets in my AWS snippets, so you should be able to go to step functions, and you can see a whole bunch of scripts. So yeah, thank you so much, and give it a like, thumbs up, and thank you. Please watch my videos again and again for better understanding on AWS cloud. Yeah, thank you so much, guys. I will see you in the next video.